يا لغتي عربية حسبي بأنك منطقي وبياني عربية قلبي.
And bring it into existence. We also believe in the afterlife. Alright? So if I ask you, what do you believe happens to you after you die? What would you say? Do you believe we just cease to exist? We become dust? We become an ash? Yes? That's it? End of story? You see,
I can't claim to know something.
no, that's fine. That's fine. I don't expect everyone. I mean, myself included. When I was younger, I didn't know many things. And like you said very correctly, learning is basically a process from cradle to grave, and we all learn. Yes, we all learn. Every day is a school day, like they say. So that's what I'm saying. For us to exist, for the universe to exist, that it has to exist from somewhere. It cannot just pop into existence one day by whatever means or by accident, like some people claim to say.
That is what you believe.
And
not everyone believes that.
I don't expect everyone to believe that. All right? But I'm asking.
And I'm not saying that I don't believe
I'm asking you what.
I'm just showing you the duality of life and why people believe in different things. And because I don't know, I'm open to hearing multiple things, but I also won't cancel out what someone else says that may be opposing to you. You're saying very matter-of-factly, there's a logical reason why we're all here, and it's because there has to be a creator that's intelligent, and you named a few other things. And I can't count out that there are some things that maybe we just can't process and understand, and can't be put into logical terms, because a lot of times life doesn't happen logically. Sometimes it happens the opposite of that.
Not everything, I agree, not everything is basically within our understanding. Yes, within our reasoning, within our logic.
There might be something so complex as to why we're here that we can't put it into words.
But you see, there are other things which do make sense.
As a possibility.
Yeah, but there are things which do make sense, which are logical. Yes, which something can be explained rationally. All right, I'll tell you what, let's boil down to the very basic understanding of where things came from. We got two possibilities. One,
I think we've come to that conclusion yet.
No, I'm not concluding anything. I'm taking you to the basic. The basic would be like, it all came from either nothing or it came from something. Two possible answers. Yeah, to break it down into the basic, narrowest understanding and definition of our existence. Do you agree? It came either from something or nothing. Now you tell. Okay, which one is more logical, from something or from nothing?
In this realm, I mean, the way you're speaking, I would say from something.
Yeah, but could it possibly exist from nothing?
I believe so.
So you think something can create or give rise to something?
It's possible.
Do you know what nothing is?
In our definition as...
It's always our definition.
Yeah, it's always our definition.
Of course. So I'm not asking you for the definition of what a chimpanzee might give. I'm asking as a human being.
I say that with purpose because I want to make sure that when I say that, you see that I'm still counting in the possibility of what we're not able to explain.
Yeah.
That's why I say that.
But you see, when you use the word nothing, you understand the word you're using, right? Nothing. How would you define nothing? In simplest form.
Empty.
Empty? Could we say the absence of everything?
Possibly.
Yeah? So nothing is the absence of everything. So can nothing...
Or maybe it's nothing we can see,
Okay.
or nothing we can feel, or hear.
Or anything. Nothing at all. Nothing means nothing.
Because I can
Zilch.
close my eyes and it could be totally silent and I think that there's nothing around, but there might be everything around.
Yes,
So
but you see, when you close your eyes,
perspective.
you're not thinking about nothing, are you? You're thinking about something.
Well, that depends on your level of meditation, because if you're meditating, say the purpose of meditation is to clear your mind.
Even then, you'll think of something, trust me.
No,
Anyone who says, I close my eyes
where-
and think of nothing,
That's
all right,
where I
they either...
Because I have not reached that level of meditation yet where I cannot think of nothing, where I can only think of nothing or it's empty. I haven't reached that.
That's fine.
But there are there are people who meditate who do reach that level, or they say that they do, and I can't count that out as a possibility.
That's fine. They can claim that they think about nothing, but you see, we are not talking about what they think about. We are talking about the reality. In reality, can you think of nothing?
Are you discrediting other people's realities?
No, I'm not discrediting anyone's reality. I'm saying in reality, if you think that nothing can bring into existence something, I want an example of that.
I can't give you an example of that because, as I explained to you,
Can it possibly happen? Can it possibly happen that nothing can cause something?
I believe that.
Okay, so in what realm are you talking about? As a human being? In our real realm, in our existing physical realm? Yeah?
Or outside of it.
You see, if there was such a thing, then you could easily have given us an example. But because you cannot even think of such a thing, that's the reason it draws a blank.
But remember when I made the point about there are some things that as humans that we may not be able to explain, or at least that's what I believe.
Then don't explain it.
So I can't.
If you cannot explain,
I tried to tell you from the beginning that I don't know, and I don't.
No, but you're talking about a metaphysical realm, aren't you? You're talking about a metaphysical realm, which is true in the case of God.
It may be so intelligent that we can't understand it. Who knows what it is?
Say again?
It could be metaphysical, or it could be so intelligent and blind to us because we talked about eyes, and you were saying eyes are open. We're talking about right in that moment. We're talking about our physical eyes, but we may have eyes that we cannot see. That may be a spiritual eye that's not open that we don't see.
If it is metaphysical and so intelligent, it cannot be nothing. I can guarantee you that. Okay?
But again, we were talking about nothing, and that's
Because nothing is, like I said, the absence of everything. Everything you can possibly imagine, everything you can possibly think of, everything you can possibly measure, you can see, hear, touch, is absence of everything.
Wait,
And this nothing cannot, you see,
what if nothing is everything? Right.
that's an oxymoron.
Exactly. That's
Because-
what we started off with oxymorons.
Yeah, but you see, if you're going to believe in oxymorons, then
That's what
you're
you
going to
was
be.
trying to explain earlier.
Hold on. If you're going to believe in oxymorons, if you're going to believe in this physical impossibilities, then you wouldn't live in
You
a.
believe in physical impossibilities, don't you?
No, when you
Don't
talk.
you believe in a God?
Hold on. When I talk about God, God for His existence to me is very much possible. It's not a physical impossibility. For me, it's the complete opposite of what you're saying. However,
Show me an example.
okay, sorry. When you
This is me being, obviously.
No, fair enough.
Like,
Yeah.
just playing devil's advocate, if
Yeah.
you will.
So what is it you want to
For lack
see?
of a better term. I don't want to see anything, but I'm just trying to show you
Yeah.
that in life, and what we believe, there's always some place in it where it may not be able to explain. You may not be able to come up with a very formative answer or a logical answer or something that you can prove in evidence or form. And all I'm saying is, as a person, I can't say for sure that I can discredit what this person says that may be true and what that person says that may be true.
No, it's not about.
Each may be possible because I've seen people of many different religions live wonderful lives and are good people. Now, if you believe in the afterlife and you think that something may happen to you as a result of not believing this way or that way, that's a whole different story. But all I'm saying is right now in this moment in time, I can't discredit, quote unquote, discredit anyone's belief, but I also am not going to count out the idea of something that may be true because I can't say for sure that this one thing is true in regards to a God or a being or how we're here or why we're here. But one thing I do believe in is the power of people and the power of love and what they can do in this world.
Yeah, but that is very subjective, is it not? Like, for example, what you might.
That's what I believe in.
No, that's fine. You can believe, but the important thing is that when you believe something.
Based on where you grew up, who bred you.
Oh yeah, of course, it has a huge impact. I totally agree with
I
you.
think subjectivity doesn't play such a high stakes value in what I'm trying to.
You see, when you say discredit someone, just because you disagree with someone doesn't mean you're discrediting them. It's called analyzing.
You're right.
It's called analyzing and critiquing work. And you know what? In research, that is how it works. When someone postulates a theory, yes, your job as a researcher, as someone who is a scientist, by the way, I'm not a scientist, I'm just saying this is how it works in basically the research world, is they try to disprove this theory. In order for you to ascertain that this theory stands up to scrutiny, stands up to the test that's put, and to match what it claims, this is what human beings do. We analyze things. God has given us intellect to analyze things. We don't just take hook, line, and sinker from someone and anyone. And that's what makes us different from other creation. For example, the animal world. Yes, you see, for the animals, they have a fix. If you look at their life, it's kind of fixed. So they basically they're born, they grow up, they feed their children, they feed themselves, and then they die one day. it's kind of very fixed. They don't have any, like they don't have these aspirations to buy a fast car or to build a fancy house, yes, or to send the children for education to schools and universities. Human beings are different, and that's the reason we, on the day of judgment, will be tested for what we did in this world. You talking about right and wrong? You see, yes, there is right and wrong in this world. But you see, who decides what is right and who decides what is wrong? Take homosexuality, for example. 100 years from today, people used to get killed for basically saying that they are homosexual, or even any tendency to support someone who's homosexual. But today, because of society, and which you rightly said, it's something that indoctrinates us, the society, the family that we live with, the friends that we associate with, the teachers that we associate with. This is something that has a huge impact on us. But as I said, all this can be subjective. What we need is someone of higher authority who can tell us that, yes, this is what is right and this is what you shouldn't do. The do's and the don'ts. Because if you don't have that, then everyone will say that, look, what I'm saying is right, what you're saying is wrong. One country saying that we as this country,
we still have that.
We do. And this
we
is
still have that kind of chaos.
No, we do. There's no getting away from this. Yes.
People following their religions to the letter of the law, the way that you see it.
That's because there's different religions.
Right.
Yes, and different religions preach different things. Otherwise, they will be having one name, one God.
Some people argue that a lot of their religions have similar core values. Like when you think about the core things and you look at all of them together, there are some things like love and peace that do align. But
Absolutely.
there are a lot of details. And then even lots of religions, they have very liberal views of how we should interpret. Interpretation is a whole other thing. Like you say, a lot of religions, they come out of maybe a doctrine of some sort.
Sorry,
right?
from?
A doctrine.
A doctrine,
of some sort, whether it's the Bible or the Quran or what have you, right? And how people interpret that doctrine can pretty much alter how they live their lives.
Yeah.
So
No,
that's a whole nother.
You see, that is what I'm trying to.
Variable to put into play.
Yeah. By the way, you don't need to be religious to have these core values. Like, for example, not to kill. Yeah, not to kill, not to steal, not to tell lies, not to insult someone. These are core values as humans. You see, you don't need to be religious. You don't need to ascribe to a particular religion. An atheist could do that. Yes, an agnostic could do that. Anyone could do that. But you see, at the end, we still need someone of a higher authority to standardize these laws and these rules for us. Otherwise, we'll be thinking that in one century, you'll be thinking to dress like that is completely wrong. In the next century, to dress this particular way is completely right. You see, this is going to cause this disharmony in humanity, and this is what's happening today.
I would agree with you in that sense. Is that
There are many Muslim women, when they go to a certain country, they say they're not allowed to dress that way, just because they identify themselves as a good Muslim, as someone who's religious, who's practicing. However, in that same country, a nun can basically cover from head to toe without getting any abuse whatsoever. So you see, it's the same. It's basically a woman practicing her religion. In one sense, you're abusing others.
I want to see the world without religion. I think there are too many people who would not be able to live somewhat a quote-unquote just life, if you will, or a life of values and rules because they may need that. Not everyone, like you said, needs that to have values and do the right thing.
Yeah, but you see, our lives doesn't just end with this core
But
values.
at the same time, I see how some people being extreme religious can actually make it.
You see, extremism is wrong, whether you're an atheist or a religious person. It's wrong. And this is what I'm saying. When you start imposing things, when you take away justice from the world, when you start oppressing people, that is wrong. Absolutely. And if you look at most of the people...
But that's the duality of religion. Do you see that?
Really?
It can be so extreme that they're following everything to the letter of the law, which is what I was saying earlier, and I was trying to make the difference between the letter of the law and the spirit of the law, because that's up to interpretation when you read the letter of the law. But if you understand the spirit, which is the deeper meaning, and by law I'm talking about what may be in a doctrine in regards to religion. When it becomes this very extreme thing, then you have people being blown up. For what? Because they don't believe in the same thing as someone else believes. Or you have people being, like back in the day, throwing stones, probably right here in England. And people being stoned to death because they didn't do the letter of the law. So
But you see, the interpretation is the key, which you mentioned there, interpretation. And that can apply to any law. That can apply to any law. But you see,
there's the duality of religion, where it can be so extreme
well,
that bad things happen, but it can be so.
No, when you say duality of religion, you see there's a difference between sometimes what the religion actually advocates and what the adherents to the religion actually practice. For example, you take the ISIS, for example, in the Middle East, where they're basically killing many, in fact, Muslims. You see, majority of their victims are Muslims. If anyone says that this is what Islam preaches, then they fundamentally disagree with the core values of Islam and what Islam actually preaches.
I know that to be true.
You see, so those fundamentalists, those extremists, it's not what the religion actually advocates. It is what they believe is their goal and their agenda, whatever it is, and they use the religion basically as a cover to justify their means. But that is not what the religion preaches. It's very simple. You go back to the original book, you go back to the primary source, and you look into it. If it is what it says, then yes, you got a point that this is what the religion actually advocates. But if you look today,
there's a lot of doctrines that, their original language, when some things get lost in translation. When you go from one doctrine being written in Hebrew and then translated to English, and then actually you think about the evolution of language over time. English is one language, but over time, you have many layers to that, where there's slang interpreted, or something that I may say, one word that I may say now, or a phrase, it means something totally different hundreds of years ago. So if you try to interpret a language and you translate it into another language, there are some meanings or that underlying spirit of what they're trying to say that might get lost there. So that, combined with different types of interpretation, where different people read it and try to interpret it this way, I can listen to 3 different preachers, speaking Christian preachers, read the exact same songs and interpret it 3 different ways. Or give 3 different lessons about something, right?
Now you got a good point there. So what you do is basically you go with the scholar or the person who studied it, and someone is qualified, you see who's better able to understand the language and the context, then you basically put your trust in that person. Because you see, you do the same with your studies. When you go to university, you don't just open a physics book and start learning by yourself. You expect a teacher to teach you, because you know that they have experience, because they have qualified in that particular.
Hoping that you have a good teacher.
Yeah, we all hope so, because that is what's very important. We cannot all start from the beginning. You see, when I say beginning, I mean you cannot reinvent the wheel every time. You got to put your trust into people who are credible. And the same goes with scientists, you see. They don't do every single experiment in order to claim to become a scientist. They all have their specialty. They all have their qualifications. And they have to depend on the previous experts in their field. So, for example, if Einstein has done a certain experiment or postulated a certain theory, which has been tested and proven to be true, then people will know that this person, Einstein, is credible, yes, and it's theory and is something that is testable. So you basically put your trust in the testimony of that person instead of reinventing or postulating all these theories and redoing all these experiments. So you got to put your trust in somewhere, and that is where the same applies. Yeah, the same applies in religion. So when you have fringe groups like the ISIS who come about, none of them are scholars. Many of them have been proven to be basically not understanding even the fundamental basics of Islam. Yes, and they go about saying that this is what Islam preaches. Then you basically can tell the wood from the trees. You can see that these people are not being sincere even to their own faith. They're using religion as a cover, basically, just to justify their means. But you see, that's sheep mentality. You cannot just expect someone to tell you to do something and you practice it. You go to check it. Obviously, you need to understand that if the primary sources do not say that, and you basically say want me to do something against the primary source, then something doesn't look right here. And that's the same in real life. So if anyone tells me that something came into existence from nothing, I will question that definitely. Because you see, to me, nothing is absence of everything. So all this universe just popping into existence one day from nothing is something that is ludicrous to me. And that is something that goes against logic, goes against your fundamental faculties, so your basic faculties God has given you, your intellect. And it's something that is no sane person would actually believe in.
And that is given that you believe that, given that you believe nothing is not the same as nothing being equal to everything.
Nothing is not something.
Some people, that's what they believe. I'm not saying
I don't know anyone who believes that nothing means something.
I mean, I think that's what the old boy who was over here earlier was trying to explain to the other guy.
He'll have to define
That
nothing for me.
We're all everything. But if you can't understand that concept, then it'll be hard to define.
No, we really have to question that person. What is the definition of nothing?
My name is Lucia. Thank you so much for
Yeah,
this conversation.
sorry, it's not-
I've been here for a long
Yeah.
time. Oh, no, you don't like to handshake?
Yeah, it's-
okay, no handshake. Okay.
It's nothing to do with your with you as a person.
No, that's
but as a
fine.
Muslim,
No judgment.
yeah, as a Muslim is something that goes against my religion.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah. So anyway, if I were to tell you, would you be willing to look into Islam if you had the opportunity?
Oh, absolutely.
So if I give you a copy of the Quran, would you read it?
Is it in English?
It's in English and it's free.
Sure.
Okay?
Absolutely.
All right, I'll get you a copy of the Quran, no problem. But very nice talking to you. What's your name again?
Lucia.
Lucia? Therese, I'm Hashim.
Okay.
Very nice
Thank
meeting
you.
Let me give you a copy of the Quran. How are you doing, Richard? You all right?
يا